So my thoughts are this. Number one, we shouldn't be high-fiving. As Republicans, we've got to continue to work hard, and we've got to work hard in every single state, swing states, Democrat states, Republican states, and win, regardless of whomever the candidate is. They are going to push people around him. There's a good number, not his direct people around him, but people that, members of Congress, members of the Senate that are worried about their own hides, and they're going to try to push him out. Now, he may dig in, but the one thing that I've thought of being on judiciary is he's been protected a lot by this Department of Justice. And there's a lot that he's done wrong. He's been involved with business dealings with Hunter. He's met with oligarchs. There's a cumulative amount of money that he, family, and associates have accumulated, up to $13 million, checks being transferred, phony accounts, etc. The Justice Department has checked him, including the classified documents issue. They have checked it out. They have said they've checked it out, and they're protecting him. So if the people come to him and say that protection is going to go away unless you drop out, that's an interesting thought. Wow. Nobody has confirmed that. Nobody's saying it, but it's one thought I have. I hope he stays in. And, quite frankly, even for Democrats, you just bring in somebody brand new. Kamala Harris is going to do no better. Somebody brand new right now at this point, at this juncture. They may even do worse. God knows. All I know is we've got to win. We've got to bring our country back home.
That's pretty powerful, and I appreciate you putting your theory forward, even though a lot of this is speculation, Congressman. But why don't you stick with me for a theory that I had? I'm trying to understand why they would do this disastrous debate in June. And my thoughts now afterwards are they're going to do this Stephanopoulos interview, which is going to air tonight. They're going to do a bunch of very controlled things between the hours of 10 and 4 when he's supposed to be the sharpest. And they're going to say he had a bad night. And they're going to hope people forget about it. If he stays in the race, do you think that's possible? Do you think people can forget about, the fact that he couldn't really put a coherent thought together last week?
Some will. There's always, when you have a good day after a debate, you get a bump. When you have a bad day, you get a dip. So some of that's going to equalize out a little bit. But here's the deal. We all knew this. You knew it. I knew it. People who were really following the news and information know it. But ABC, CBS, NBC, the Washington Times, all of these papers, the Washington Post, I meant to say, all of these newspapers, all of these media outlets never show Joe Biden when he falls asleep. They never show him when he falls down. They never show him when he forgets his thoughts in the middle of a sentence. They didn't show any of that. For some people, this was a big surprise because the mainstream media didn't cover it. They thought this debate was going to be good because it would be a controlled debate. They pushed him too hard. They should have just let him rest. He should have gone on broader, bigger issues. He shouldn't have tried to learn facts, figures, and numbers. Right. He can't do it. And they made a mistake, and they overworked him, and he was exhausted. But remember, he has good days and bad days. The next day in North Carolina, he did fine. State of the Union, he did fine. So I'm not celebrating until we win on the first Tuesday in November.
State of the Union, North Carolina, he was on teleprompter. He can do the prompter thing, when he needs to. What's interesting today is he was speaking in Wisconsin. It's neck and neck there, according to the Real Clear Politics average. So he thinks he wants to try to move the needle there. There's opportunity. Wall Street Journal today, John McCormick saying this: Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Virginia, which typically back Democrats in presidential elections, are being closely watched. Do you think that there's an opportunity for President Trump to nab any of those states?
Absolutely, there's an opportunity. It depends on how it all goes, but he's doing well. I'm the head of his campaign in the state of New Jersey. Tough state, all blue. The southern part of the state has got a lot of red pockets, but up north it's tough going. But we're even doing better there within single digits. We're going to keep pushing and working. I'm not giving up on New Jersey, either as President Trump. We're certainly not going to give up on those other states. We are living history.
It's funny because I grew up in New Jersey, Congressman, and I spend a lot of my weekends there with family that still lives there, and we are always noticing, and I'm talking about the northern part of the state, not where those red pockets are, how many Trump signs that we see. Now, it's anecdotal, but people are putting them out there, and the people that had Biden signs have taken them down. So I definitely think New Jersey, New York, possibly in play, too. Great to see you tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be with you.